Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present the case for Ms. Doe claiming refugee protection as a member of a particular social group under Section 96 of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. She has well-founded fear of gender-related persecution against her, and her country is unable to provide the necessary protection. Ms. Doe, who is a national of Trinidad and Tobago, came to Canada legally under a visitor visa and has provided the necessary documentation to confirm her identity. She was abused for 26 years by her husband, where she was faced with physical violence, sexual abuse, rape, and threats to her life. The supporting documentation presented are the statements of observers, the police records showing that she had tried on numerous occasions to seek help within her country with little or no help. NDP 2.1 Country Reports on Human Rights Practices indicates that violence and discrimination against women was one of the most serious human rights problems in the country. NDP 2.2 Amnesty International report indicates that there are high levels of gender-based violence, including domestic violence continued. Violence and discrimination continues towards women and girls. NDP 5.2 indicates the cases of domestic violence are underreported as per Freedom House 2011. Trinidad and Tobago's Newsday reports that, according to some counselors and psychologists, embarrassment or fear could be a controlling factor and keeps most victims silent about their abuse. Also, according to the Secretary of the Association of Psychiatrists of Trinidad and Tobago, most women remain in abusive relationship because economically it is better to do so. According to the chair of Trinidad and Tobago Coalition Against Domestic Violence, only after about 10 to 15 incidents of battering, violence, and abuse do women generally seek protection orders. In the case of Ms. Doe, she went through these phases over and over and found it really difficult to get herself out of the situation due to lack of support from family and society. She also feared losing her 3 kids if she tried to get herself out of the situation. She tried to obtain restriction order against her husband, but it made the situation worse. In one of the instances, her landlady called the police, who did say they would come but never showed up. Ms. Doe Ms. Doe's fear is further highlighted to be objective, as per NDP reference 5.4 domestic violence, highlighting the high degree of abuse in the society and a lack of support from family, society, and government. Trinidad and Tobago is a small nation with an area of 5,128 square kilometers. Relocating would not help in getting away from the abuse and receiving any sort of protection, as it is a national problem. Her removal to her country of nationality would subject her to danger and risk of life. She's unable to avail herself of the protection of that country as the risk is faced by her in every part of the country. Although gender is not one of the grounds explicitly listed in the definition of a convention refugee, IRPA 96, it is clear that the claimant experienced serious harm and a sustained violation of her basic human right. In the jurisprudence of Federal Court of Appeal for the case of Myers versus Canada, the court reviewed the decision of a credible basis panel. Pursuant to this decision, it was found that there was some evidence upon which the Refugee Division might determine the applicant to be a convention refugee in her claim to fear persecution on the basis of membership in a particular social group of Trinidadian women subject to wife abuse. The Chairperson Guidelines 4 recognize that domestic violence is a female-specific experience which can amount to persecution. In conclusion, Ms. Doe is a woman from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago who has been subjected to persistent domestic violence and increasingly serious threats to her life. She has well-founded fear of gender-based violence and related persecution. She is unable to obtain protection from her country, and as a result, I believe Ms. Doe should be granted refugee protection under IRPA 96 and 97 and grant her refugee status. Thank you.